And this allows us to use steel and still remain very light. We don't use traditional ladder frames. We use a total wraparound surrounding spar frame. This photo might be a bit deceiving, but what you're seeing is a top-down view here. So you're seeing that center beam that you actually straddle, and in the front you see your A-arms. The suspension, dual A-arms in the front, fully adjustable. So this frame, the skeleton, is common to both the RS and the RT. So what you see is the new 2010 RT in the 3 different colors. Have a look, and then we will see it firsthand. We want to show you a few of the design and lifestyle boards. These are tools that are used at BRP, not only for engineering, for design marketing, but really to crystallize the vision of a product for all those involved. We use the lifestyle board for every single model we make, be it an MXZ snowmobile to a specific Spyder RT in this case. I'm not going to go through all the details here. I'll let you observe the slide later. However, we do identify key socio-dental, key behaviors, and then we do some comparisons with personalities, be it in the automotive industry or even. It's there to illustrate how people would sit on an RS. If you overlay the RS seating position on the RT, this is what you would get. So what you do is you bring the handlebars back, you move the feet forward, and you get a much more touring position, a much more relaxed 90-degree leg to knee. Okay? Optimized for long distances and comfort, obviously. So that's the key characteristic of the R1
in Saint Louis. And Denis had that idea at a point to bring all those creative brains together at a point. And we had that opportunity a couple of years ago to design and build from the ground up. So it's a little bit upside down as far as the flow of the process. From the sketches at a point, from the 2D, you have to put it to life in reality in 3D. And the tool that we use is clay model. A little bit like in the car industry. That's the best process to be able to be nimble and easily add and delete ideas, because what's on the paper, you don't know if it's going to work in 3D. So you have to be able, in one day, a designer with a modeler is able to test and validate, I'll say hundreds of different iterations of one concept or one rendition in one area. Maybe, Guillaume, you can give a quick, how it works.
It's really a conventional way to do product, to develop product, but at the end you really feel the product, you really feel the 3D. And as a designer, you need to feel that 3D. Some company do right away to the 3D CAD, but for us, we feel that we really need to feel that 3D, because you can sit on it when you do the clay model, you can test it. So that's really a plus value for us. So that's the final 3D clay model for the RTD. Yeah. So you eat it, and when you eat it, you heat it.
No, you heat it.
Sorry. Some designers do that. We don't know.
No, it's right the first time.
And it's come soft, and then you can apply on it, and it's become hard pretty soon, and then you carve it with a steel tool, and then you can really feel the 3D. So that's awesome, because that's the model that we have done right after the sketch, and that's pretty much what you done today, what we delivered.
And then we record those positioning dots, and then the next step is we with our laser scanner, we actually scan information right off the clay. So you can see that those red dots on the screen are the ones that the camera are reading, and it's helping the position. So if I turn this camera, well, you're actually getting the picture moving, and you can see where that like fine cross laser is actually the data.
Meetings around coloration, texture, graphics, surface finish, and so on. So selecting a silver, sometimes you can say, oh, they just pick a silver, but there's zillions of different silver. Just look at those different shades of silver, colored silver. Which one do you select, and it's going to be a hit in 2, 3, 4 years? And maybe you want to select one that you're going to keep for 2 years, and it's going to be 3 years down the road, so it's for the next 5 years. So influenced by trend again, and having a cross-functional team that is very critique. And I was referring to the scale models for both. So this is an example of scale models for both. We recycle those models afterwards to be able to test our coloration. It's easier to paint small scale models, to paint multiple big vehicles. Sorry. So this part of the warehouse is called the experimental. It's all the prototypes that have been developed over the years that have been used to validate different concepts. Some of them went through actually prototypes of that new personal watercraft, the Spyder, a new snowmobile. It would be doing your bouncer job. I'm a better bouncer than you.
Wow! Look at that.
All right, group one, let's head out.
All right, group one, we're moving.
Yes.
I'll make your way.
So probably for
All right.
most of you, this area feels more at home. It's our monster garage. So it's where all the mechanics will be put together. We have like mechanical technician, obviously engineers upstairs don't only work on their computers, they also come down here and get what's that expression? Hands-on participation into the building of the prototypes. So we've pulled out from that experimental room back there the prototypes. That is the first P0 of the, it was called the R3R at the time, but became the Spyder eventually. And this is literally based out of a snowmobile. If you look at it closely, you have a snowmobile tunnel that's been cut out, front end of a snowmobile. Some parts have been upgraded. But this was from an early ideation saying, how can we stretch out the usage of a snowmobile maybe on more than one season? So this was, the first part of that process, and then from there, yes, you can get, the experience, feel that after getting off the track, you have the grin and say, wow, that's fun. You can have that thrill and exhilaration of a snowmobile even in the summertime. But that's only the first step. Then from there, you have to bring it to another level, saying, okay, how can we bring that to the road? Can we make it, a real product? And that's the P0.5 job, bring it to another level for validation. They can relate to it. There's not that distance of being a little bit too rough on the edges. So we don't have the entire machining shop. We work with the engineering machine shop, so we subcontract some of our parts on the other side, but everything is put together here on the mechanical side.